So I started my build today fully, and this is about a 10-minute video of me doing miscellaneous things today. Didn't do much, but I did get started. Get right into it. Working now on the top to the Telecaster. I sped things up here so that we can skip through, making sure that the book match is properly done and that everything was gonna look great. Next we got doing a test clamp. You should always test clamp anything you're gluing together, as far as two pieces of wood like this, to make sure that they match up and there's no seams or gaps or any unforeseen issues. This is me just clamping it down. This one didn't quite take right, so it went to the next notch, but it clamped down. And then picking it up, looking at the light, making sure everything is nice and flush and not seeing any light. If it was, you would have taken it down and planed it down or smoothed it somehow. Just using regular tight bond original. Everything's going to be sealed up inside of finish on this guitar, so I'm not worried too much about moisture getting inside. Then I pull a mat, wipe the glue on the front of the table. Lining everything up. What you didn't see too much was drawing X's and such, lines diagonal, single and double lines to make sure that everything lined back up. After I'd already aligned everything. The clamps on the end are to hold them from popping up, which is a common thing to happen when you're doing book matched tops for guitars. You start clamping down and the top pops up on you. So I just put a quick clamp on the ends. They're not clamped too hard. Just enough to keep them from popping up on you. Looks good. And just gonna throw a quick clamp across the top. It keeps everything nice and flush and square and flat. Get my clamps from Harbor Freight. I figure if they're, they may be cheap, but if they break, just go down and buy another clamp for $1 or $2. They work really well. Haven't had any issues. Now we move on to the starting of the body. You have two pieces of Sapele mahogany off of one board. The board was processed with planed on one end, and then I cut it and swung it, or I think they call it door match or something like that. I'm not sure. You can easily get a center line mark. The best way to do it is the joint between the two, obviously. Sometimes it gets kind of hard when you glue them together, so I went ahead and actually marked with a pencil so I could see it easier. And then just go around it and make sure everything's nice and marked good for you. And now we're over to the bandsaw. Another inexpensive bandsaw that I have. Bought a brand new Harbor Freight. I can't remember what I paid for it. 120 bucks, 140 bucks. I'm not sure. If you happen to want to buy one of these, they work really well for general purposes. You're not going to do anything heavy duty. I was having a hard time initially cutting this with my normal fine tooth, so I had to go back to a more aggressive tooth saw, and it went just fine. As you can see, I don't know if you've noticed, but my upper guide is not metal. I broke it on accident, so the actual cool blocks won't lock down. So I just made a temporary upper guide for the out of mahogany. Works fine, as you can tell. Gets me by. Some of the pieces of scrap wood I toss off to the side, I'll use those to make different plugs if I need to, or sanding blocks. These things make really good sanding blocks, radius sanding blocks and such like that. That piece right there I might make into a neck support. I made one the other day and it works really well. Now the outside's roughly cut. And then like how this, when you get a little closer to the line. Planning on going back and using a pin router to finish the outside of it. I don't have a shaper to hog it, so I try and get as close as I can, and then use my pin router, which you'll see in another video coming up. I was going to do it today, but right when I got ready to do it, I realized I didn't have any double-sided tape to put the template on, so I'd finished what I could today, which was what you're seeing now, and I shaped the neck, which will be another video I'll be doing here shortly. Safety first, shut it off, take the little pieces off, and back at it. We'll do one last cut across the top just to finish square things off. Body's rough cut. Thank you.